Hello, Cardinals team. Hope you guys are having a great day so far and being on your best behavior for the sub. We're going to go over your Between the Wars and World War II vocabulary. So you need your sheet out that you just went through and guessed which vocabulary terms went with which definition. So let's go through these together. The first one, a swift military attack, often combining air and land forces. Let's see what this is. Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg. Everyone try to say that out loud to yourself. Blitzkrieg. Okay, that's a word we're going to focus on later on in the unit. Number 2 are submarines armed with torpedoes, used heavily by the Germans. We call these U-boats. You saw these in World War I. Remember that this is what the Germans used when they sank the Lusitania. Next is Nazi Germany's mass killing of Jewish people. Some of you have probably heard this term before. This is known as the Holocaust. We are going to spend a few days on this, and there will be some cat activities that you can come to as well. Next is number 4. Money paid by a defeated nation to compensate for damage or injury during the war. Reparations. Okay, you've seen this in World War I. Remember, Germany is having to pay all these reparations due to the blame that they were given for World War I. Number 5 is the worldwide economic downturn of the 1930s that started with the crash of the U.S. stock market in 1929. You've probably heard of this before. This is known as the Great Depression. Maybe some of your great-grandparents or your grandparents were alive during this time period. Be a great thing to ask them about and what their life was like then. All right, political system based on militarism, extreme nationalism, and blind loyalty to the state and its leader. You will see that Germany and Italy both practiced this during World War II. That's fascism, okay? Fascism is this belief. Another one of the isms. All right, information that is spread for the purpose of promoting some cause or belief. If you don't know this by now, get it in your head. Propaganda. Okay, remember the "you can do it" sign that you see on the poster on my wall, as well as the "I want you" for U.S. Army. This is another propaganda poster, both used during World War II. Next, we have prejudice or hatred of the Jewish people and their culture. That is known as anti-Semitism. Okay, anti-Semitism. Number 9 is a major cause of World War II because it punished Germany for World War I by forcing them to give up territory, reduce their military, and pay reparations for war damage, some of those factors of influence from the Treaty of Versailles. And that is what that definition is, Treaty of Versailles. Next is the international organization formed after World War II to promote international peace, security, and cooperation. This is known as the United Nations. This is similar to the League of Nations, but remember, the League of Nations didn't really go anywhere after World War I because World War II began. So now the United Nations is put in place, and we will talk about that at the end of our unit. Next, June 6, 1944, when Allied troops attacked at Normandy, France. This is the beginning of the invasion of Western Europe by the Allied forces. This is known as D-Day. Okay, D-Day. If any of you have heard of the movie Saving Private Ryan, it's all about D-Day. Number 12, November 9th to the 10th in 1938, when anti-Jewish forces unleashed a frenzy of hatred and violence across Germany. This is known as Kristallnacht. See if you can say that out loud to yourself, Kristallnacht. Okay, that is a night that we are going to talk about later in this week, early next week. We're going to do some stations where you're going to look at pictures from this night. Okay, number 13 is the National Socialist German Workers' Party, founded in Germany in 1919 and brought to power in 1933 under Adolf Hitler. You probably have heard of this before. These are the Nazi Party, okay? The Nazi Party. Number 14, the policy of giving into some aggression in order to avoid war. So you're giving into something that you know maybe isn't right in order to avoid having to deal with war yourself, and that's called appeasement, okay? When you appease somebody, you're doing it because you kind of have to do it, even though you maybe don't really want to. So that's appeasement. Maybe we have appeased people before by doing things that we don't want to do, okay? 15 is the deliberate killing of a large group of people, especially those of a particular ethnic group. That is genocide. Okay, you may have heard of this term before. Genocide is not just involved in World War II. It's not just the Holocaust. That's an example of genocide. But we are going to talk about some other examples of genocide later on in the year. Okay, that is your vocabulary for Between Wars and World War II. If you need to go back and rewatch this video to catch some other answers that maybe you might have missed, make sure that you do so. Now it's time for you to move on to your notes on the Great Depression and the end of the start of fascism. Okay, so you're going to get started on that today.